Start the damn stream. Okay. Excellent. Now I'm going to drop over to you and start that. Now to let people know. Let people know. Drop the volume there just so I don't have an echo going on. Copy link. That can go away. Wait, what else is my phone telling me about? Oh, just something from TELUS. Okay, next up. Okay. Oh, Twitter. Paste. There we go. Meta posted. Where's Threads? Make sure it's posted. Yep. And then check Instagram. Paste. There. Yep. I'm just making sure my socials got the link. Then I need to drop into contacts on WhatsApp who want to see this. And then we will get started on the game itself. Yep. Okay. Yep. It's on Facebook. Don't worry, guys. We will get started very soon. That's the one I need to go to. And of course, the Discord community. Where is it? Non-affiliate going live. Here we go. Why is this not working? Oh, what the heck does the joining portal want? Okay. Now we will get started on the game. We're all set. Yes, that should be our most... Wait a minute. Return to menu. Yes. I just want to double check my other files, make sure that is the actual... Make sure it's the actual... Oh. Oh. I love having technical difficulties. Chapter 4. Yep, it looks like it's the right one. Okay. Okay.
Keiichi-san! Rena-san! We're over here!
Sadako waves her hand in the front row. Sorry. Making our way through the mass of people, we reach the spot they'd saved. Yes, this is still during the festival scene, so yay.
How was it? Were you able to have a little bit of excitement, Rena-san?
You punk, that's what your plan was? Instead of replying, Neon gave us a perverse grin.
How was it, Rena-chan? Was Kei-chan's hand bigger than you thought it'd be?
Rena turns a bright red, puffs of steam shoot out of her. I heard something slice through the air and turn around to see Neon on the ground with a welt on her face. Hey Padme love, how's it going? Neon, when were you hit? Between the head and of her. Ooh, I think. Rena, it's not good to hunt your friends to hide your embarrassment.
I didn't hit. I didn't hit. Whatever.
Thump! The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd.
You must be quiet. It's beginning.
It was a solemn ritual. Rika-chan entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was the flash of Kamatake-san's camera. What's the big thing Rika-chan's holding?
Oh, that's used for this festival. It's a sacred farming tool that the Shrine Maiden made you touch.
It was an awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika-chan approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe skillfully, plowing it into the futons. Please do not take this out of context, chat. I beg you. Each and every little movement of this performance probably had to be done in a very certain way. Without a doubt, this was a ritual. What's next? Wearing out the futons?
She's purifying the futons to absorb illnesses from people over winter. So when Kei-chan says airing out the futons, he wasn't completely wrong.
Rika-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. That hoe probably was really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Sadako looked on, silently lending her support. Worried? I asked Sadako.
Rika practiced every single day with a mochi hammer. She will certainly prevail.
Sadako's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath. Why wasn't Neon a candidate to be the Shrine Maiden? Feels wrong having Rika-chan swing something around that's so heavy. I'd do it if they asked me, you know. And well, it's not something anyone can do, that's true. Shrine Maidens need to be pure after all. Neon drove her elbow into my side. With the thud of the big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. Woo! After the Shinto priest had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priests, we all marched on at a moderate pace. They descended the shrine gate giant stairs in line. What's happening? Washing the futons in the river?
Watching Higarashi means setting cotton adrift, you know.
The procession continued right to the bank of the stream. A fire stoked high, and it was bright as day here, too. People started crowding around it and clamoring.
Alright, get in line. Line up, Kichi-kun.
I wondered what was up. Maybe we get some holy wine? Pretty sure that's Christianity, dude. Red and white
Beans? It's not food. I'd say it was cotton. But of course, they didn't call it Watanagashi for nothing.
I finally understood. The Mason Hill committee members pulled out the pot from inside the futons and balled it up like a mochi, handing it out to people. Rena dove into the line and brought up some for me as well. We proceeded to the bank of the stream.
Since it's your first time teaching, then just copy what I do.
She held the cotton in her right hand, waving her hand as if to purify it. She touched it to her forehead, chest, navel, and both thighs. Oh my.
You do this 3 times, it's time to give thanks to Yashiro-sama.
Yashiro-sama. What's that, the name of the shrine's god? Oyashiro. Oyashiro-sama. Yeah, that's how it goes. It took me a minute to remember the pronunciation.
Yes, that's the garden deity of Iimazawa. It brings about both miracles and curses. You must be sure to show respect.
That sounds like a pretty frightening god. But, well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Iimazawa now, after all. Doing as Rena showed me, I touched the cotton to myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama. This way, all the evil that possesses you is sucked out by the cotton.
Then you let it drift away on the stream and you're done.
Together, Rena and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of the water. The flowers of the cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the evil festering in Iimazawa, and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I've seen on TV. The best part was feeling like this rite of passage made me a true resident of Iimazawa.
Higarashi.
I might have to look at a clip of the anime just to remember how to pronounce that properly again. While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Rena. I wasn't very lonely though. I know this place now. This is where I live, my home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone will surely find me while I'm enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomataki-san's! Headed towards it. How did it go, Tomataki-san? Were you able to get some good shots? Yes, fortunately. Tomataki-san was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding.
How was it, Kichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival?
The way she spoke, It seemed like she was a resident of Imazawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Well, it was fun. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name because she gave this lighthearted chuckle. It's probably because it's been long since you've moved here. It's pretty hard to believe seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. That's how lucky probably is all thanks to Rena and Neon. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinozaki compared to the festival today. I wondered about that. Oh, that's not like you. I tried to get used to Hinozawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. Like the faces of people I met, for example. Things that happened in the past as well. Oh, you're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not much of a feeling of left out, it's just I'm not sure how to say it. The incident at the dam site, the fighting over it, and the other conflicts. That terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone who's living in Hinozawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know more about what's good and the bad that happened here. If it will put you at ease, then I can tell you everything I know. Taki-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. It's hard to think of what to ask when someone said, ask me anything, though. Yeah, I have the same problem, too. It's like, ask me anything. It's like, I have no clue what to ask. Even when there's so much I wanted to say. Then, could you tell me more about what happened when the dam was being constructed? There was a big incident when Hinozawa was going to be submerged, right? I think the locals should be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I read in newspaper, though. Kamitaki-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through the memory that he spoke. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it was the next major project after Kurobe. Whatever that means. There were 3 major issues in Japan at that time. Improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meaning the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economy stimulus they provided on top of the generating electricity and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support the dam construction, so it was singled out. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area right up to Yaguchi way upstream would be underwater. Why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinozawa? Couldn't they have picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not sure why, but I heard that it was just because of the right terrain for building a dam. There was, of course, protests here in Hinozawa. Rika-chan had said there was a battle from what the sort of words I had to guess, things that turned out violent. There was a trial, and it even was brought up before the National Diet. It was covered in Tokyo newspaper, too. Neon told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinozawa united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light. Yeah, I can say it here. Oh my god, I filled it up. My god. As a result, blah blah blah. Yeah, we got it. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I want to know, now was the only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age were curious about. I felt a little ashamed for the fact that I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Ren and Neon's proposal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I would stop thinking about it so much. So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. I happened to be in Hinozawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tematake's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my immediately forced out question. It was about 4 years ago. The day of the Watanagashi, if I recall correctly. Geez, this was the day of the festival? Debate on whether to continue the construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at dam construction site ended with the victim being murdered. Fearing persecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but 1 is still on the run. The right heartbeat hidden has yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rena and Neon needed to hide from something. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I feel grateful for having friends who worry so much about me, as well as ashamed for being so interested in it. I would be too in Introduce, to be fair. It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. So everyone was saying that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god of the shrine that held the festival today, if I recall correctly. I see. The guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction trying to flood Hinamizawa. Apparently the younger ones didn't think so. But it seems the elders in the village never doubted it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman with Tamataki-san said with a mischievous chuckle. Tamataki-san began laughing with her. It was so, in fact, excited of laughing as well. Ha 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 ha! What I wonder about now, there's quite a few, I think, amongst the youth too. A few what? People who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled in a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then after that, it continued. Every year. Always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tell me. Tomatake-san paused for a second as if building up to suspense, then he whispered to me as if someone might be listening. Every year on the day of Watanagashi, somebody dies. The year following dismemberment on the day of the Watanagashi, a man from Hinamizawa who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers among the elderly saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again. Then the next year, the night of the Watanagashi, the shrine Shinto priest died suddenly from unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. Jeez, that'd be Rika's parents. Shrine Shinto, he was from the shrines here? The woman nodded. There was a rumor amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Then the year after that, again on the night of the Watanagashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these mysterious deaths from people involved in the dam or with had a connection with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could a housewife be involved in some ways too? Exactly. The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly. One of the victim's relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before the festival. The younger brother is still alive, it seems. But it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to a neighboring town. For a while I stood there, my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction with Hinozawa's future at stake. And the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But it wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide. Body disposal. Accidental deaths. Terminal illness. Suicide. Fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi. All of them were related to the dam construction. It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves. But when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses. But every single year, on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled again, as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, right, and stuff like that. I felt embarrassed being read so easily. I pressed Tamataka-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone. Then, so somebody died the next year, right? Who was it that time? I wondered, do you think H-Dude? The hell? The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question, I'm serious here. Okay, hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun. I realized when she tried to calm me down that I've been panicking. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. It's just when you say the next year, that's the day. When she hesitated to say it, Tamatake-san finished for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I didn't like the direction this was headed. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight. The festival was so cheerful, though. Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. Turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival. There's a rumor going around that if he didn't participate in the festival, he would incur Oishiro-sama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of this rumor. Then the reason everyone was at the festival was because they were afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people in Watanagashi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid after all of Oishiro-sama's curse. I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on unknown and misunderstood, where black and white televisions have been eradicated and sent men to the moon, even with all our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society? Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring town youth groups to help have the numbers, but after that string of events, few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. Also, the police are treating each case as isolated, so they don't believe there's a connection. They're trying to keep it quiet, so it's all plainclothes officers. It eventually began to dawn on me why Ren and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with. I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being just crazy talk. I should have just pretended I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we all would all have gotten back to our life as usual. Maybe it was too much for him after all. The woman ran her finger through her hair as she sighed. No, it wasn't that at all. I tried to act strong, but they just served to emphasize how much information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomitake-san appeared to regret saying anything. He let out a sigh. He then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses, right? Well, no. If the causes of all the crimes are unknown, perpetrators and their methods all mysterious, then I would think it's the work of the curse. That's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the evidence, and suspects to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. The first one, the dismemberment, for example. I told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested. It's only a matter of time before the last one. The motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse. Don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Wakagashi, I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all. The accidental death of the man on who supported the jam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident, not foul play. But they both happened the day of the festival, right? Just think about it, Keiichi-kun. Do you think people with lots of enemies here in Kinozawa could participate easily in a local festival? It'd be especially hard for them to be around during the Wakagashi, so they probably left Kinozawa potentially around the time of year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitake-san was getting at. So I pressed earnestly, asking more questions so I could convince myself. Then, Tomitake-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one with the unknown illness? That also happened the day of the festival. That's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Wakagashi is a really big event that happens once a year, and probably from all the built-up stress. Or it might have been because of a freaking existing condition. But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe something with an unknown cause could exist with all our advances in medicine. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over incidents happening 2 years in a row, with sudden death quite unnatural, though. Of course, police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. There wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know. Turns out it was just sudden death due to illness. The wife's priest committed suicide, correct? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was shaken up by the incident happening for a third year. Those with strong faith will probably believe it was the work of curse. Of course, that includes the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said she said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well, then how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened the day of the Wakagashi too. The perpetrator already had been caught and the case closed. Turns out it was just some nut job trying to continue the legacy of Kinozawa's curse. Then how about the incident next year? Yeah, this year is the next year. Tomitake-san gave a hearty laugh. Nothing will happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just a group of people believed it was the explanation for strange coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed at how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinozawa, even if Oyashiro-sama's curse actually did exist. Keiichi-kun couldn't bring himself to believe that such a thing existed. I feel very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Rena and Neon tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'll probably also like tonight's end without incident, so they can continue tomorrow having not worried me. Perhaps seeing me change attitude, the woman who had been listening stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on. Well then, I should get it back. Goodness, I think I might have gone a bit too long. There were so few people compared to the crowds before I could have make out a few groups of families enjoying the air. I looked at my watch. It seemed like we talked for a better part of an hour. Did you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Not going to look for them? Oh yeah, they might be looking for me. You're quite the scoundrel making girls look for you. Alright. See you, Koichi-kun. Have a good night. You too, Jiro-san. See you in a bit. Tomitake is seen to be quite the scoundrel himself, so his name is Jiro. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowds of people still busy cleaning up the strike grounds. Koichi-kun! So sorry! In her place, Rena came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil. My bad, Cake-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion, I completely forgot about them while I was caught up in my own conversation, so we're even. Yay, it's back to upbeat again. My, so Tomitake-san was with you. This works out perfectly. Yay! We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition. Oh, that's right. So I guess I ended up dead last. In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger. But there wasn't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. So she did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She ended up sharing the loser crown with Tomitake-san. However, she did her little mewing cry in the front of the owner and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster. I have no idea what Keiichi is talking about. There then! It's decided that Tomitake-san is dead last. Everyone cheered and applauded Tomitake-san, smiled wryly, slightly bewildered. So, Tomitake-san, are you ready for penalty time? Haha. I completely forgot about that. You're so naive, Tomitake-san. This is why our club never lose. Neon pulled a felt-tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that. Show him some mercy, Neon. At least use a washable marker. A permanent one's too harsh. It just has to be permanent. Cups off when you do laundry anyway. Whoa, what is this? Please take it easy on me. All of us bent his arms behind his back and Neon approached him with the marker in hand. And spit. She didn't write on Tomitake's face, she wrote on his shirt he was wearing. You better have a big break this year, Neon. Rena took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? It was a little heartwarming, I just had to laugh. It's more like a farewell card than a penalty. Oh, I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Haha, dead last, Sadako. Try harder next time, Rika. There you go, Keiichi-san. I can decide what to write based on what kind of penalty this was. That's probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Keiichi. Tomitake-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face. So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty? Of course, you better wear it all the way home. You can wear it when you come back. It'd be nice. She appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with the wealth of the other emotions made him turn a bright red. Understood, I'll wear this next time I come here. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomitake-san standing here from the festival grounds. It seemed like Tomitake-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave. Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it time? Yeah, it certainly How it seems. Ha 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 ha. Good now. Tomotake's-san headed towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomotake's-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of night out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. It wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone run off. They had done the same thing many times before. He's gone! Forever. Well, it's about time we take off, too. Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Sadako was tagging along with her. I headed out with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively with the talk of today's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Brandon and I parted ways with Neon, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house, and I parted ways with Brandon as well. It's already pretty late. Are you alright by yourself? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's close. I'm gonna run it, too. If you run into some weirdos, just yell. If someone does come, will you come save me, maybe? Maybe? If I hear you. Oh, okay. I'll scream loud enough so you can hear me. Got it. Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, she dashed off. So I like how those kids were running in weapons. Oh well. She was fine in that mode. Not even an adult could stand against her. Brenda's cheerful presence disappeared and finally became quiet again. The curse that not a single person even whispered about. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettled it became. It didn't show on any of their faces, but they were probably all just quite concerned about it as well. If nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up being crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad. Nothing at all. Same old boring Hinamizawa. What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in the place like that? Come inside, you'll catch a cold. It was my mom. Did you go, Mom? To the Higarashi festival? In the end, your father didn't wake up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out a bit, with an embarrassed look on her face. Okay. It was nice to get back to this one. I'd been looking forward to this one. You have received new tips. Mr. and Mrs. Hojo following incident. Terminal incident. Okay, let's see. View new tips. Oh my god, there's like 3 new ones. Alright, let's take a look-see. From June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of Double X at 2 p.m., office employee Quadruple X and his wife Quadruple X of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from an observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searching downstream discovered the body of Quadruple X around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, 5X, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of the Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared that railing at the observatory that had Double X leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundkeeping the staff was questioned about the police in regards to the facility in deterioration if the park maintenance was performed properly. Okay, so that was the... Actually, wouldn't that be Sadako's parents? Probably. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of Double X around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. After Quadruple X's death and his wife's death went missing, leaving behind a farewell note, the police and local youth association continued the search, However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that Onigafuchi Marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. Well, at least these are short. This wasn't reported in the newspaper. Really? Wait, radio log? What was this? This is Okinawa Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3. Loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger, Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlight. Pressing radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. Apparently that was something. Save. I want to save. Yep. Yep. Good morning! Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun.
That's right, Ichi-kun. Thank you very, very much for Mr. Bear.
I'm glad you liked it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though.
I wouldn't.
Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped in the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water. And unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. Damn it, Sonico! By now, how diligent you to mop the floor this morning. Plump, 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 squip, poop. Ah, Casey couldn't flick my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Damn it, Rika, you're so cruel. Seeing that Brenna began to swoop as Mion looked up dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there. Nothing felt out of place. Everything is fine. The uncertainty I had in the back of my mind suddenly, since yesterday, had vanished. What is it, Gage? Good? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class. You shouldn't do that. Neon alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled to their seats. Good morning, everyone! So yesterday was a festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling only one thing we did was run around the festival, cause a ruckus. Okay, then this time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, but I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You maybe ask questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that can be taken wrong. Do you understand? In unison, we all replied yes, ma'am. What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There was probably a lot of third-rate reporters pouring on hoping regarding the curse that happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. And now I was the one who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I say so myself. Why is there a bell ringing? I was summoned to the club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play the classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose you here. I'm not too bad at this game. It seemed like Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are, the person who can match the murderer weapon, and scene of the crime wins. Oh, it's Clue. I used to love playing that when I was younger. There are 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I can see the name Neon and Ringo were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There's plenty of different weapons I see, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too, like living room, the study, the courtyard. Wait a minute. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other with the cards to figure out the right ones. I see, so the card nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and you check if the answer is correct. If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends even if no one gets it right, all cards are gathered and redistributed. God damn it, it's Clue. You'll learn as you go. Really, you have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest you can figure out by playing, so Neon! What's the penalty this time? Everyone direct their attention to Neon. Let's see. We're also a little tired from yesterday, so we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So it's just being asked to buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah. You don't know what he'll do, you'll have to buy. I'm betting Neon will send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or a happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out, so it means that all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then I'll go first, since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Neon, knife, study. You pick what suspect weapon to murder scene next to the person. Any of those cards must say, I have one. However, if you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered that yes, they had Neon, Knife, and Study. So that means that Neon, Knife, and Study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down. Then I'll go Rena, Axe, Lounge. Only 2 people said they had one. So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct as part of the crime. No, wait. Even if they said they have one, they don't have to take out many. It's possible either Sadako or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead. Wait just a little. I'm still sorting things out. This game has me thinking more than I thought. Yeah, this was going to be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles beyond just now raised your hand. The murderer is Rika-chan. In the infirmary with a poison. Well, Neon drew the cards from the box from Pixie. if her deduction was correct. You were right! I'll use one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I've never used a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan said such a terrifying thing with such a sweet little face, and I was thoroughly traumatized. Everyone was making commotion about how they almost had it. Ren and I are left out in the cold, though. How did you do, Keiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry, I had no idea either. How could both of you two, I'm so unsure, you will both end up in last place together at this rate? That's even worse! We're not flying things together as a couple. What if we end up having to buy the Happy Flying Guide? I can tell from Keiichi's expression he's not very good at this game. What? That's not true! I'll show you true power of Murloc Mara during the next round. My, that's so wonderful. I'll give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somehow grasp the trick behind the game, but I was a step or two behind. I saw that Neon was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a cutback is if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of protection, switched over to thought lessons needed to win. The important thing is to find out the criminal is to win the game. Eureka! Oh, sorry, we need to go to the bathroom. Take your time, squeeze up a nice one. Kei-chan, that's so gross! I had to pull off the gate and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school ground, some of our classmates were still playing. After spending some time cooling off, Rena made her way over to me. Keiichi-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked at Rena. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record of this game we're playing today? She was taken aback after a moment she hesitated to open her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how intensely she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull out after they come back on this one. So I guess you both will be taking that penalty. Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us. But how can we? I brought my lips up to Rena's ear. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Is that allowed? Did you get Ron on the second rule of our society? Do everything in your power to obtain victory. Yeah, I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would have to focus on their own hand while taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were next to each other, we had revealed our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everybody else. Having this much information would mean we need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, let's start off with the big lead over all the other guys. Yeah, with this we could probably win. We both smirked at each other. I was studying businessman, and Rena was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Let's hurry back. Work isn't too much surprise everyone. Hey now. No point if we go back together. I feel like flat out telling them it was a little arrangement. Oh, sorry, then what should we do? Go back ahead with me, Rena. I'll take my time to go back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. The owner might suspect something or could be problems. So I'll figure out it sooner or later because both Ren and I started winning over and over again. Both Ren and I will have earned enough points to avoid being losers by the time Yon realizes what's going on. Excellent. Not bad at all. Barakun, may I have a moment? Oh, it's a teacher. Man, things are getting good. What is it? I'm a bit... You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They have been waiting. Please hurry. It's rather unfortunate I have someone waiting on me right before my big match, but I guess I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosed and his jacket underneath his arm. Are you Barbara-san? Keiichi Barbara-san. There was no question he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and this was without a doubt the first time I had met him. Ever since I met Tomotaki-san, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you agree? The man completely ignored my question and pointed over his car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I have no intention of going home with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get into a car with him? I'm not going to fight. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversation that started out like that, this never led to anything good. And he went for it anyway. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioning are supposed to be luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please at least know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and started my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notebook from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, please tell me. Who the heck is this? I doubted even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from the expressionless picture that looked like it was taken from the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done with a permanent marker. Starting with yours, Marabara-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed it. Huh? This is Tomotaki-san. There was no hint of his usual unreliable, easygoing personality in the photo. It was expressionless, half-asleep face. Then do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea who it was. I don't remember her name, but she was some lady who was with Tomotaki-san last night. I didn't know her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? Night of Watanashi, we spoke. They seem pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied with silence and kindness. I was pretty certain that this guy was a cop. Then why was he asking about Tomotaki-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioning felt unbearable. After a long pause, he finally spoke. You moved here quite recently, isn't that right, Mabara-san? Are you where I wonder about the stories of Oyashiro-sama? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably shows on my face. Not at all. If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomotaki-san told me about it, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killings, the accidental death, death by illness, followed by suicide, and the lady who had beaten to death. The incidents always happened at the day of the Higarashi and in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomotaki-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think about there was anything more to that. Do you know of that? Well, curse, Higarashi-san. Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing it. I wanted to clear away my own doubts, but that was more prominent feeling. Really? That's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting who can get to the point. The man in this picture is dead. What? Tomataki-san's dead? My mind went blank. What happened to Tomataki-san? It seems he died last night. That was the night of the Nagashi. You understand the implications behind that, Marbar-san? Implications not in any for cause of death or reasons behind it? The real problem was he died on the day of the Watch Nagashi. Meaning this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again... The death of Jiro Tomatake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinazawa. There's a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. At least that's how I figured it would feel to listen to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope on the shoulder around there. There was a few street lights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights of the passing cars and the moon. There was a stroke of luck that Tomataki-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomataki-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered with the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? With those he clawed through? The coroner report it seemed revealed that it was his own nails. What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder, it was a suicide. What the fuck? Tomataki-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat? As hard as he could with his own nails, tore through the skin until he started bleeding. Even then, Tomataki-san didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that could be peeling off his nails, still clawing. His nails reached the vital arteries that should never be damaged. He continued clawing. Yeah. Blood spattered on the ground around him as he bled. Gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed. And he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing in that nature was detected. But it was a suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. This wasn't a mysterious death, then what was it? And what was? The way he died in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomataki-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details with body chemistry. Perspiration, epilation, and so on were concluded he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. That was a given. It's hard to believe someone would be in a sound state of mind while clawing their own throat out. Wounds on his hand matched the spark pieces of lumber found nearby. There are traces where he struck trees and the guardrails with it. Tomataki-san blood was found all over the place, meaning that while tearing his own throat, he was fingering around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomataki-san. There's a high probability that Tomataki-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may have been multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomataki-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried to fight back. Somewhere in there, he began to tearing his own throat out, clawing at it, and he died. Presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m. last night. Meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomataki-san at the festival. Jeez, that looks suspicious as fuck. Everyone signed Tomataki's shirt and then parted ways right after that. Oh yeah, he should have been with that woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. So there's a high probability she was involved in the incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never thought something that unfortunate had happened to somebody so close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I spent with Tomataki-san was short, but we went to the same festival to spend time together. We took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oroshiro's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. I knew that well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomataki-san, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinazawa? I should have been angry about that, but there was a reason you wanted to hear what happened for me. If things go the way that they have, then the conclusion would be Jiro Tomataki died from Orishiro-sama's curse. He turned away from and gazed off in the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos angering Orishiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Orishiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomataki-san. Tomataki-san had to have been killed by humans in a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laughter. That's how it must be, Maibara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinazawa will even the curses indispensable. Understand. Neither Tomataki-san nor I believe in curses. The way things are going, it would just end up being Tomataki-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinazawa had rejected Tomataki-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomataki-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinazawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more a resident than I was. There's no way Tomataki-san could have been cursed by Orishiro-sama. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear, she's talking in the future tense. Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If you're not there, if I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. Hand me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve this question surrounding Tomataki's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I need to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across my face. Everything we spoke of today is secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood? From your friends as well, especially from the Sonozaki-san and Furede-san. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki, you mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? My friend's name's brought up so abruptly I was being told to keep a secret from them. I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him. He seemed especially offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it might just upset you. Say it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze outside the car, he began to speak after thinking a bit. There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening in Hinazawa was a result of village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break! First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases was resolved. None of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. And how do you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only residents of Hinazawa felt that the day of Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it's somehow related to Hinazawa. First, it was the dam construction corp. Then it was a villager that supported it. Those village hold a grudge against dying one after another for the mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end the result is the same. Unfortunate, unfounded, unreasonable, suspicious. But it couldn't be just shrugged off. So the victims after that, what about Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. Villagers would expect leadership of Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive. There was also a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? She died just because she was the wife of the brother of the supporter. There's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake-san? He's not affiliated with the Dam Project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? It was beginning to feel like those related to the Dam Project. As years went on, the enemy threshold of victims became much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? Honestly, this is reminding me of some politics I've seen. Hello, Monsoon. It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reason enough. The next year's victim, they're going to be picked out of the villagers' outsider pool? Oh look, Keiichi has a target on his back. It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by that? I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still can't remember the names of people I passed by. Then the next victim's my family. Was he saying it's gonna be me? What does that have to do with Neon? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the damn protests. Quite fervently so. It's also true that Mion Sonozaki-san herself, she has quite a few misdemeanors and obstruction of the public workers' offenses on her record because of the protests. I know Mion knew what it meant to fight, but this was the first I've heard of her family leading the protests, though. But what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family's involved in the string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd be the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. Felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That's exactly why I didn't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave him a very bitter expression. It seemed he understood it well enough. Then think like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who are finally believing it's a curse. How about that? What even how about? How should I know? The reason behind wanting me not to carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with the curse. He was definitely being caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. None of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they didn't have to worry? Jeez, Keiichi, you're circling a bit. Oh boy. I was just talking to myself again. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these there! Now I'm getting tongue-tied. Incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more of them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was. It couldn't be helped. I understand, I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Oishi from Okonomiya Police Station? You can call me Koro-chan if you want. Oh no, Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it. It was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. I've never seen one this bulky in the cop shows before. I've taken up way too much of your time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. Door opened with a clink and streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It's almost cruel heat as opposed to mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. It felt a little sad as the thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling you that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Mahabara-san. There's enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. But I'm no detective. Please don't expect much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as the way you have until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Mahabara-san. I returned to the school building without looking at him. I didn't know how much time had passed. I didn't feel bad for keeping them waiting right now. There's a lot on my mind. Taki-san's death was hard enough as it was, but I think there was a possibility of village conspiracy. Worse still, there's always a chance Mion was involved. Nonsense. Involved with not Mion, Brenna, Sadako, or Rika-chan. There's a group that attacked Tamataki-san. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here somewhere in Hinamizawa? I don't know. All I could say for certain was I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's me-chan, the perpetrator. Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice. With the rope? Lounge. Whoa, no. No. Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over there. Wow. Ah, Kichi-kun, you're quite late, as you may well know I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That is a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's just make the next game the last one. I remember right now I had 0 points. I pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing last place. Don't worry, Kichi-kun. I'm at -1 points. How the heck? Her score is lower than mine, and that was even flag? How is that possible? This is the final match to decide whether the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself. You made a promise, Kei-chan, that we would win. I waited for all this time, you know. Sorry about that. And they lose gracefully. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it! The murderer is me! With poison at the entrance! Is it? My Rena-chan, quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark. Oh! Rena's correct. Oh, this side of Kichi shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Kichi, let's go to our best. Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, I didn't have no choice. And that's game. It's me, Mion Surizaki, ranked first. And dead last are Keiichi Mahabara and Rena Ryuga. Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now is penalty. Now that I ranked first, I'll decide what is fine for the Goku penalty. What would you make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any medicines at the drugstore. This old man already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here! A lot! Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar, fried tofu. The heck is this? It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is fruit fable. Thanks. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that by one next time I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Ugh. Yay, city transition. More tips? Oh boy. I must read the tips. You new tip. Oh, there's two of them. Why won't you load? There we go. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing at one's throat. Tissues packed underneath nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly the individual's own nails. The shape of the scar also matches. Yeah, I know it's not the immediate cause of death of suicide, I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you draw a little too hard and draw blood. I think that's just a you problem. Some chocolate have been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull one's own nails out, but it really hurts like a fucking lot. Under normal circumstances, the pain would be prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there was a lot of bruises in Tomataki's body. Script on shapes of them, he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was extremely state of hysteria right before the death. When he fought back, clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he'd become. The guys attacking him certainly had been surprised by that. It's possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane person couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oshikun, the wood-plagued deceased uses a weapon. They only found sand and paint from the guardrail on it. What of the clothes fibers and skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Maybe they took a plank and was fighting back with it. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They take them all. Har har har. That's true. Tomataki sounds pretty built and tan. He's quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would have been on the higher side. Meaning he'd be difficult to overpower in a brawl. He had such physique since he was in danger and swung the plank around and walked quickly. It's just unthinkable that it wouldn't nick a perpetrator. And his opponents were unarmed. The guy had a wood plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit, you should have known better than anyone. Have you gotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's a fundamental attack with numbers. I guess about 4? If there was a gap in their strength, they'd be managed. And there were quite a few perpetrators. If any drunken disorderly group of more than 4 are suspicious. A group of 4 or more. Just if they had that many, then couldn't they have just hidden the body in less obvious locations? Or did you break away somehow, breaking away from that fatal predicament? Then there's no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. It's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this one before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Oshi-san! The chief's calling you! Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Okay. Search notice. Jiro Tomatake, deceased. Reside in Cheap Hotel in Shishibone City. Registered name Jiro Tomatake. Pen name. Travels via folding bike, no license. Bike was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the site of the forest path. Present on the day of festival, accompanied by missing Mio Takano. Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police, located afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinozawa for 1 week each season for the last 5-6 years. Freelance photographer specializes in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. What was among the articles of the deceased? Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along Soba National Railway line. No individual matches the name Jiro Tomatake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare Chief dental records, send to Metro Police, attach a photo, sent to Metro Police, contact magazines regarding Jiro Tomatake. Mio Takano missing, nurse at Irate Clinic. Enclosed Tomatake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okonomiyo X District, Triple X Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomatake on festival grounds currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need thorough investigate their relationship, place of work, etc. Need to get information from police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Okay. Jeez, how many chapters are there? Sleepy. Whoa, that was a really big yawn page tune. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV till late last night, so I was tired right now. I've had those nights. Was it one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much last night? How street and vile. Don't jump to conclusions. It was totally anime, wasn't it? It's perfectly normal for boys not to be ashamed of. Rika not patting me on my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. Ma, you think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. This was just dreadful. So sleepy. I slumped into my desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seems Sadako had responded, but I pretended not to hear. Cut it out, Sadako-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face is so cute. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. Be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him right now. Rika-chan really is a good girl. Just not wake him even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse I didn't want to sleep much last night was because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oishi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this is almost as if the incident with Tomatake-san didn't happen at all. It made me think that Oishi-san was just trying to deceive me. But it was probably true. One thing is certain, I didn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I don't really know anything about it. If I knew anything was going on, any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me again, regretting learning something I didn't even need to know. If I hadn't never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this. What? When was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. Appears he vanished the night of the one to Higarashi. Mion whispered to keep the others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up. Couldn't tell she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomatake-san? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have feigned ignorance about this topic because I need to keep it secret. But rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was easier just to sit up here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their conversation. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, and there are others, right? Too? But they don't know it's from the curse or if this was Okinikushi. Orikakushi? Orikakushi? To be hidden away from a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. Yeah, there was another right? If it's Oishiro-sama's, yeah. Oh, but did you... At all? Grandma and the mayor was talking about it. It seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they need to take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then, without us knowing it, someone had it. You mean... Next could be me? I wonder. Don't worry, you got home safely. But it's not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entire conversation was still unclear, but a few parts caught my eye. First of all, the term Onikakashi. To be demoned away. By context it was being used in. I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that is what they meant because Tomitaka-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after the Wachinagashi. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, there's another one, right? Yon said, if that's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah. Response to something. If Oyashiro-sama's cursed, there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? I'm trying to think. I remember Yon saying that at the beginning they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was just the case of Onikakashi. Some of these Japanese words really trip me up some days. It seems like the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they are phenomena that were paired together. I recall Tomitake-san's terrible end. That wasn't something elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would be described as cursed. Then, the woman with him, maybe she vanished because she was demoned away? What do I know is, there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew something that had made her a potential target for Horishiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Horishiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Himazawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday, Oishi said that originally the targets were enemies of village, but recently there's no longer any distinction between them and regular outsiders. But if that's the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably rely on what I heard just now from Oishi-san. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping to my friends while pretending to be asleep, it made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would you like it better not to seek answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I was falling past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret this ever learning of these events. The teacher approaches. Keiichi-san! You must be awakened! In the distance, I can hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of afternoon classes. Yeah, I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. Ah! There was a thumbtack stuck to the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Something to count! Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I furiously jumped from my seat and tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces have been tied together. Not bad, Satoko!
While I was sleeping, you were able to steal your presents, you know, pull off this fine piece of work.
The teacher came right in, just as I would pull off my two attacks with Sadako.
Oh, now notice that our teacher had arrived, Katie-san. Take your seat.
Womp womp win. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
Whoa! Katie-san is being mean.
Hey, don't pick on younger kids, our Baracoon. Apologize to her. I saw Sadako stick out her tongue at me, that little brat.
Come on, my Baracoon.
Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Sadako-san. In any case, I apologize, even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice.
Damn her! I'll remember this! Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat, I sat down after Mion told me to. He switched to class representative mode.
With the boring classes finished, school is finally over for today. Now then, what should we do for our club today? First, I'd like to play the deduction game one more time. I was hardly ever able to play last time because of Luigi-san. Brenda and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
That's right, today Keiichi and I will be victorious! What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking
Mion looked over her shoulder and made contact. Slowly she tapped her palm with her fist, and her face suddenly lit up.
Oops. I completely forgot I need to go and help my uncle today.
Sorry guys, not today.
Helping your uncle?
Aren't you little goody two-shoes?
Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys, bye. This little man's heading back home now.
Mion left us with that, and rushed off the exit after snatching her bag.
You see me, Chan. Sometimes she goes to help at her uncle's shop in town.
Ah, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such a bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
I see.
But she's able to pay for that mountain of games from what she saved up from there.
But wouldn't that be just called a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? There's a clause that states that family businesses are excluded. So, close enough. Isn't that what she's calling it? So what now, pass on the club today?
So we're done today, I guess. Want it to be fine, even without a club president? Let's do this.
I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game for that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is. Deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Sadako for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind. But this is fine for Brenda-san and Rika-san. Keiichi wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
She said that like that. I want to go shopping. There wasn't a club meeting today. I'm going to buy soy sauce and other things.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now? Everyone has no longer mood for club activities? I'm trying to push the matter. It may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeves. Ah well, guess I'll give it up this time. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it. I shoved in the cards as if I was still caught up on it.
At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing. Ho ho ho! The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all. What did you say?
But I'll just... Sadako looks at the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
The murder is Keiichi, in the lounge, with a rope.
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this.
No, Keiichi, calm such a beast.
Phew. Well, I guess it's a good thing I got that out of my system.
Whoa, murder is Keiichi-kun. Whoa, oh, Keiichi-san.
She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate.
Cute.
No abducting Sadako. Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards. I noticed something strange. Rena, Sadako, Rika, Keiichi, Mion, Satoshi. Satoshi? Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does that mean the Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in our class named Satoshi? Gasp. I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi in the class. Its roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi-kun, let's hurry up and finish cleaning up.
Being rushed by Rena, I finished quickly. Sadako and Rika-chan are already headed merrily for their lockers, so we're the only ones left in the classroom. Rena, there must be quite a few people transferred from the school, right? I tried asking Rena in a very roundabout way. Rena made this troubled face and then answered.
Yeah.
Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then? Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees?
Sorry, I don't really know.
There was a bit of pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean.
It's just last year I transferred in, so maybe I missed him? So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. I'm not sure, sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial. Her answer was a lot like when I was saddened by her denial, but it felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? I don't appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse from me. But if everyone's worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I was wondering what kind of face I was making just then with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why?
This is probably exactly the kind of face that Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I was feeling down about it. I wrestled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us as we headed home. I wonder why. Why I've been getting this damn feeling lately. I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched shadow gave me no answers to my naive inquiry.
Keiichi-kun, are you tired maybe?
Rena's timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made this situation even more unsettling. You think so?
Yeah. You seem to be a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold? Physically, I'm pretty sure I was in perfect health. But it may not seem like it, but I had perfect attendance since elementary school. Brenna couldn't continue on since I couldn't give her an answer. It could be that fatigue from moving had finally caught up with you. It's completely different from where you used to live after all. Of course, you've gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it has to be. Brenna was always like this at first, too. I could tell, you know. I wonder if Brenna also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt like she was the only one who could understand how I feel. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinazawa. How was it? Feeling I'd been drawn into a conversation, her face suddenly brightened. Ah, the same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the village names at all. Mi-chan and the rest are all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I could still feel a little out of place. Brenda told me all the details when she moved here. All her first acquaintances, surprises, worries, and good times. So Sadako got to you too. Yeah. There's the thumbtack put on my chair. Oh. And with that that really takes me back. When you were invited to the club the first day... Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament. I'm trying to think, Yun did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. This is a secret, but Mi-chan used to really be bad at the beginning. She'd never win. Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that. Yeah, it is. Huh? Mion? Yeah. She had to do the most penalties that she came up with. I feel like that's just desserts for including the penalty game in the first place. Seriously, don't tell. I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into the monster we were used to seeing any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making her more friends besides Mi-chan after that, but yeah. It might have only been since she moved here, but I finally felt like I had gotten used to it here. Yeah, I guess Rana had also been left in the dark about Oishiro-sama, but she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oishiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll be finally considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? No, sorry. Just talking to myself. Haha, Keiichi-kun, you're so silly. Rena was poking fun and laughing at me. I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then after making my mind up, I spoke. Hey, Rena. There's something everybody's been keeping from me. Huh? No, not at all. You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. I'm gonna drop a save. Because reasons. What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun? Her tone was still the cheery, light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted everything, saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect. What the fuck? What is with that look? That is... Oh. Well then, Keiichi-kun. Aren't you keeping something from us? Huh? Her tone didn't change. This is the first time I've seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through mine, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena. Aren't you? Lies or secrets? Aren't you? You are. Secrets?
She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The instant with Tomotake's how I felt alienated from the group. Even though I hadn't to think about it, there was things I knew I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened to Tomotake's because that would be considerate. I was keeping it a secret the same way they didn't tell me about Hoshiro-sama. But aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies. Or secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Brenna stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say I'm lying? Didn't you say you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during club Yankees food? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff if she knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside the car, near the school gate. With some man you didn't know. Brenna knew everything. She knew I was called up by Oishi-san, and heard about the incident about Tomotake's-san as well. Did she know all of it? Exactly who was that man? I don't know him. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? I want to know that myself. Then why did you talk about? Then what did you talk about? It has nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie.
Lies!
I'm clicking. Brenna's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightening birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I'd just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized the person in front of me wasn't Rena Ryuga. Then who was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryuga's appearance? I held my breath so long I couldn't feel myself suffocating. Right? And then she made her facial expression that Rena normally might have made. Didn't matter that it was Rena's usual voice. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I could feel her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was, Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if able to see right through me. We also have secrets, just like how Keiichi-kun has secrets. It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close to mine, she almost bumped my nose and she kindly persuaded me. I could nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long, empty silence, she finally spoke. Oh good, her eyes are back to normal. I'm sure that wasn't anything terrifying. I'm sure it's fine. Let's go. It's getting chilly. It was Rena again, smiling at me once more. She started walking, as if nothing else had happened. Oh boy. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out under me as I slumped to the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger till Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold, my body drenched in sweat. I was finally able to perform a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person who looked like Rena Ryuga? Oh, the dark mystery's popping. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who looked like Rena. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that there was someone else not Rena, so tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded I should just calm down, clear my head, though those thoughts continued to swirl through my mind. Oh boy. I remember reading the manga for this years ago as I was finishing up high school, and I read this part of it, and I was like, holy crap, there are scary mangas. I did not realize that till then, but, you'll learn. Keiichi! A call from the bookstore. Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late. It's me, Oishi, from Okinanomiya Bookshop. Oishi-san? Oh, it's Oishi-san. Sorry, since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Oishi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want your parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me, so I dashed back to my room on the second floor. Sorry for calling late. The phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. You can copy down the number I'm about to give you. Yeah. Of course. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought it was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. So how's it been, Mahabara-san? Anything strange happened recently? Oh, I see. This was the real reason. He was really beating around the bush here. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Oishi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinanomiya. If he's from around here, he might know. Oishi-san? Do you know what this Okinakakushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody vanishes because they've been abducted by the demon. It's a special saying around here. There's the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says it. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this old man gave me the direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Himizawa was, I'm not sure if I should tell you this, Mahabara-san. Try not to play this off. You're not going to talk, but I'm not going to tell you anything. Oh, no. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as a village where demons resided. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down to the villages, snatch people up, and gobble them down. That kind of tale. Demons snatching people up is what this Oni Kakushi really means. They said that the curse and being demon away happened together? What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row. I didn't know where the people disappearing for those 5 years. The curse and being doomed away happened together? First time I've heard of that. No, it's not Mahabara-san. Actually, no, I think I heard about it in the Tips thing. That's what I want to know. I hear Ren and Neon talking. They said it was really Oishiro-sama's curse, and then both the curse and demon away will happen. Oh yeah, Oishi-san began hemming and hawing at the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind. Mahabara-san, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment. Yeah? One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away? Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi-san. The incident 4 years ago was particularly ghastly. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations, investigating every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't a hint of where he might be. unless the police were completely incompetent.
You'd be surprised how often that happens
In horror games and movies. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, we couldn't simply laugh it off. What about the incident next year, when the man who supported the project and his wife both died in the accident? Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in the accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we found the body, it's considered a missing person by law. At the time of the incident, with the river below, the cliffs became muddy. The police divers searched every branch of the Main Street River for dozens of miles, but at the end they didn't find her body. But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't that the difference? Different from her being deep away? You don't say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass by, law, the street was still alive. I'm not sure if this was the right to call that being deep away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the third year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide. Higarashi. That's actually the exact same scenario. The wife supposedly threw herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Higarashi. Meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, they weren't able to find a body. The investigation headquarters believed she was had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if you call these cases being deemed away. It's just you said every year one person was missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomataki-san has gone missing. What about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? Only the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with records of narcotic abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned of a different incident. Well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation. As to whether or not the disappearance had anything to do with the crime, you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now, because while under investigation that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was an accident or a suicide. Meaning for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing. And that's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of these incidents. It just seems like they had it in common. Could be those deep away have something in common? Oishi-san mumbled as he seemed to think about it. So I summarized the events. The first year was the dam employee. The second year was the wife of the dam project supporter. The third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. The fourth year was the victim family child. The fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem that there's anything that connects them. With the exception of first year wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. It seems like there's quite a lot. That means the fourth victim's child was different. What it really stood out is if all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parent and children as well. I believe Tomataki-san also told me the other brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they? Apparently he was quite mature, 1 year older than you. I know who, yeah. Sadashi Hojo-san. Sadashi? I remember that name. You should. You saw the little clue name over that way. Didn't they tell me Sadashi transferred out last year? He was at your school until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Kind of think when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to the recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one demoned away. It was his seat? I recall the cold sensation that came from that desk and my hair stand on end. This string of mysterious deaths, no, Orishiro-sama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation is like the feeling of Orishiro-sama caressing the back of my neck. Orishiro-sama's curse, huh? Could Orishiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That's why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by a man and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. I kept digging eventually. I'd reached the point where I learned something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or seek an answer I may regret. Which one would make me happier with? Maybe it'll be me next. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena said she might be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryuga? She transferred last year. She's your classmate, isn't she? These instances really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said she might be next. She said in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. Felt like she was convinced, almost as if you could say she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated, though. All strange things I felt from Rena today came back to me. I see. I've been doing quite a bit of an investigation on this end. Please keep your observation of Ryuga-san, Maibara-san. Ask me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Maibara-san. I just wanted you to watch out for your friend so he doesn't end up the next victim. At the moment, just as my mouth was agape, I became impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock, knock. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please. On the other side of the door, I heard my father's door of the upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. You want to leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies for calling so late. Have anything else out? Please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this line. And then have a pleasant evening. KT, hurry up and open up. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I had to stay in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints are aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. A tray of cookies and 2 cups of black tea. A fairly fancy spread for our household. There's even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This is quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. For my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What has gotten into him? What are you talking about? I jumped. That's something I could keep from my father, but how would I explain to him I was talking to a detective? Assuming he was, this late at night. Nothing much, just a friend. I didn't need the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan? Oh. She wasn't here. Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought you'd bring some tea, but it looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about. But as a cold sweat dripped down my back, how long were we talking? Rena-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her coming up the 2nd floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her your room was like the door down up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door, called out to me on the 2nd floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on a conversation with Luigi-san. I didn't reply, but I knew he was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then I told her my room was... She thanked my dad and went upstairs. About an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing tea and left. Came upstairs about an hour passed. Passed by my dad, returned home. Now she came upstairs, and she left her with Rena. There's only a short hallway between my room and those stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she could have been standing up in front of my door the whole time. My door to my room was particularly thick. You could easily overhear everything being said inside. All the ominous things, all the nonsense I spoke to Luigi-san about being rushed through my head. Honey, don't tease me. More important than clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with his funny turtle. I followed my dad out of my room with my eyes looking at the floor around the doorway where Rena I just stood all that time. Just now, as I talked to Oishi-san with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet the whole time. All that time in that dimly lit doorway. What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Geez, I would call that stalking behavior, but... yeah. Yep. We're knee deep into the horrors now. Few new tips. Notice from the police chief. Oh, good. This can only be good. July 1st, 1982, to Departments 1 through 12, Correctional Police Headquarters. Director General. To Chief Constable and all facility managers. Regarding case situated in Himazawa Village, notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Himazawa Village has been reported by certain sections of the mass media. It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. It has become a very serious situation to protect the livelihood and prosperity of residents. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinawa Station 1982 case number X. Hinazawa Village housewife murder dated June whatever. Okinawa Station 1982 case number. Hinazawa Village student disappearance dated June something something. Non-disclosure of information. Okinawa Station 1979 case number. Hinazawa Village State Foreman murder dated June. Shira Station 1980 case number. Shira Natural Park falling incident. Okinomiya Station 1981 case number. Hinazawa Village Shinto priest wife disappearance. Oh my god. Requesting self-restraint for each organization concerning recent sensitive information. Please attach reference material 1, 2, and 3. Your virtual police headquarters management internal line. Whatever the fuck that is. Police Affairs Department. Oh my god, my throat's getting a little sore from all this. Oh good, I can actually click it. I'll laugh at the thumbnail for this Twitch stream VOD is Rena with the weird eyes. But I doubt that's the case. Oh boy. Weariness and headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. I know that feeling all too well. What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed like my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly it was my imagination forced itself to go back to sleep. Except not being able to stand it, I gathered my courage and opened the door. Of course there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Maybe I just don't remember doing anything more than that. Even though I was able to get breakfast table without incident, I still feel at ease. I still don't feel at ease. It might be cold. I don't have an appetite. You don't seem more, well, you make it to school. Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. Wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? Could have been that I'm not feeling well the last 3 days because I really did have a cold. I took some medicine, got a good day's rest, and might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth towards the entrance of the clock. It's 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena, right? Rena-chan came to get you, but what are we going to do? Gonna take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be someone for her keep, but she's certainly cute. Lunches she made were delicious. She always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Brenna's fault. It's probably mine. Had to be my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have passed by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet Brenna, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived I quickly fell asleep there. I've had sick days like that where it's like, fuck it, I'll just lay wherever with a blanket and enough pillows. I only intended to lay down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around or on the table. I found a lunch prepared in a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened ever so often, so it wasn't unusual. They'd probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note it said, insurance card is in the cabinet, take it and go to a hospital. There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right, I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it was really just leftovers from morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Dude, just sleep if it's just a cold. What are they going to do? Say, go take cough medicine. Or cold medicine. Normally I'd never be here in the middle of the weekday, just walking around like it had just had me feeling guilty, but it was an odd feeling. Like my mom's map, I took a road and usually never used. After a bit, the hospital was in sight. Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Higarashi, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot, even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until my turn to be seen. Higarashi-san, please make your way to the examination room. After properly answering all the chatty doctor's questions, he responded the old, it's probably a cold. They gave me a shot, 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but it would have cleared away the gloomy feeling I've been having lately, then it was worth it. Again, I know that feeling of exhaustion. I'm glad I had the day off today. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between the elderly people who seemed to be revelers at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. It wasn't for that word. Must have been Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young, might have just eloped. Who? The man who Tokyo, who visits every season. That young one with the big camera? Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? Were they talking about Tontake-san? I could feel my ears perking up. I don't know anything about that, but you have to make preparations for you elope, leave a note, or quit their job or something. It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or a message. Thought I'd never see that young nurse's face again, makes me rather sad. Takano is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name is Takano-san. That woman was Tomoaki-san, and she worked at this clinic. Oshira's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing. It didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Orishiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Orishiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place. Of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on my way home. Contemplating, I turned into a familiar street. At the moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far in the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around peeved. It's Oishi-san. Hibara-san. Good day to you. Who's Oishi-san? He stepped out of his car, AC full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Nah, just not feeling well, so I took the day off. Thought to buy lunch and head home. That's great. I've got to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then I don't mind. I was gonna lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold. I doubt you'd want to eat one of those local places. Let's go into town. Bit of a drive, but that's alright. I know a pretty good place. I'm gonna understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. Probably want to talk to you about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinomazawa. And cue Keiichi digging himself deeper. I went with Oishi-san riding in his frigid car. It's almost as if bright daylight outside was a lie. Sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. Crap. There we go. I recall Brenna, who'd been listening on the phone conversation all that time and separated from me by just the door. Even now, the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. Big bump, the car jolted, the road connecting the city changing from dirt to pavement. My head pulled back to the sudden realization. That's right! This is where Tomotaki-san died. They hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomotaki-san. She spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. So I believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was crashing out on his own throat, but a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all the time, where there's a drug that you put in them that doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Sinca something or other. Well, it's pretty common. See, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Take-san to react like that specifically. You're saying that the cops concluded Take-san died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the cops were worthless. I just want the idea of the curse be disassociated from Take-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. Putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and hadn't taken a meeting before he died. That was no curse. That incident unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. We passed around a rather desolated, but still busier than Hinomazawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and hauled Uchi to the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there was only adults at this hour, of course. There wouldn't be any children in the middle of the weekday. Two, please, not smoking. This way, please. Damn it. I think it's the fact that right-click is the open the menu quick tag, and that's why I'm having this happen apparently randomly, because I pushed too close to the right one. This way, please. When you're ready to order, please call me over. They're led by a peculiar dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. So what do you think? I think the waitress don't think you're cute. Huh? Well, I guess. The shop's always quite busy. It's more about the waitress than the food you see. Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering. Am I really? Yeah, dirty old man, okay. Regardless of how the waitress looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday we talked about Hinomazawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that was the village of our man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out a notebook and stuffed in his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinomazawa used to be called Onigafushi, or Ogre's Abyss. Onigafushi? That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is called Ogre's Abyss. Instead, the depths of that marsh connects to the realm of the demons. Of course, nobody told me anything about such an ominous marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect for it and a fear, I guess you could say it was kind of a deification? the village of inhuman monsters. It seems the demons were sent in or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts, taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the Ogre Abyss to heal them, for example. Even if we called them demons, Tegu, long-nosed dog-goblins, or Senin, which would be a more apt description, didn't seem like terrible people even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons, according to the story my grandma told me as payment for treating the son's illness. Let us eat the mother who brought him here. We are apparently how things went. The price for curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then you see all the people who lived in Onagafuchi. The demons chased them down, ran them up, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seemed that both mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? Whoa, there's plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to ghastly tales of Oishi's contrast to ghostly tales, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But well, there's quite a few other tales, where demons from Onagafuchi band together to capture their prey. How that Beyond sent all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw a similarity with how that part about the unification overlapped. Normally they hunted down a single person, they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what I meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with demons hunting. You should hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does that all mean? It means you must help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will befall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of the tale caught my attention. Bart's story told me overlap with this theory about the perpetrators were all the villagers' families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it could be conceivable that the villagers were hiding under covers, leaving them to die when there's a group of them was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or the villagers perpetrating these crimes. What do you think, Higarashi? Oh, excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi disappeared. Oishi muttered as he watched the milk swirl around his coffee. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Mayabaro-san, I had a bit, really just a little bit okay, of a background check done on them. If Oishi-san said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends, but as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Mayabaro-san, but if you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Oishi-san wearing the most serious expression you've ever seen on him. So if he was telling me to prepare myself, I didn't listen. There was quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice in my head screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath. Silence that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please? That's all I could utter. Oishi-san stared silently. After certain he was ready, he began. The victim of the incident the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Oishi-san said that before that, Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. It wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the dam project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name was Satoko Hojo-san. Knew it. Huh? Satoko meaning Satoko. Oishi-san's look told me the voice was too loud. I realized it was well and politely quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife, who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year, you know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Sadako Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell by my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging a gap. I thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. The clicking and clacking had all snuck up to my feet. The ones who disappeared in the fourth year, by the way, he was Sadako's older brother. Just a second! Took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Mahabara. Hoshi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. Last thing I shouldn't have heard. All the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to be a coincidence. No, it's not true. That's impossible. Mahabara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mion? Sadako? Rika-chan? What if they're connected? Telling me all my friends? Couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena's different, isn't she? Ren isn't connected to the victims at all. Rena Ryuga was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture until last year. While it is true she hasn't directly met any of the victims, said in such a roundabout way, he's saying she's also connected. Actually, I looked into her before Ryuga moved away to Hinazawa. She was suspended from school. It seems she went through her entire school building, breaking all the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school. That same silly Rena had? I couldn't imagine it. Seems after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was just something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard it happen to people who were really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama. I felt like someone's stout and cold hand was caressing my back. Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? It seems that Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process. What was I being told? After a while, she moved to Hinamizawa. That's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to the registry resident... There! Now I'm getting tongue-tied. Residency register, the Ryuga family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Mahabara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I can let it end here. Now I understand, Rena. Then how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Have you forgotten, Mahabara-san? Didn't you all spend the night, the festivity, together, quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. There was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Oh, my person, you said, did you take your afternoon medicine? I'd completely forgotten what the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got to the car and turned to Inozawa via the rough road. I really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally take this much? Almost like the road was definitely trying to tell me something. But, that big tilt front was different in elevation of the road when it changed cement to dirt. I was certain I heard Tomotake's scream. I sat in silence, letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. Miss School District, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out. Really just blurted out? I didn't expect an answer. I didn't check with you first, did I? You should just stop. Not at all. Why didn't you reach out to me? He said quite well that Oishi was investigating the string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing. I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke was news to me. First of all, what guy just moved here? No. By chance, there's the reason Oishi-san reached out to me, then I would have to be. I looked suspiciously at Oishi-san as I was part of Beyond's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving far away, retiring as my grandma. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them? Oishi-san didn't really give a response. He was still a little late, though I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition for 30 years on this job. Higarashi, you're the one in danger. Crap. Okay. I wanted to reply with that's absurd, but with my mind's down trying to say it, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retired this year, but I won't be at Higarashi next year, so I want you to settle things. In other words, he insinuated that on the next Higarashi, I might be the next victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string case has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure I'm facing. Pressure for what? Someone in Hirazawa. He arrived. This time? After some time, the car pulled reached the path to my house. Clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised the little time had passed since we ate. The hot air outside, the chirping of Higarashi hurting my ears. I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today. But I'm still going to keep investigating. All I know is Shiro-san was cursed this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maribaro-san. I wasn't collecting enough to understand Oishi's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I don't really give any sort of response. Always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now. God, I wish cops were this nice. The tires scrunched over the dirt road as the road made a U-turn and disappeared in the cloud, kicking up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me lifesavers in the shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san had been being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim, then saying contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just a bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really Orishiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait will swallow the whole. Damn it, I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC in the car. I don't think ACs do that. At least they're not supposed to. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It's getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. That'd be a good idea to change my sheets. Oh, the phone downstairs rang. It's probably Mom. Mom was quite a worrywart. I think she called many times, but I just didn't notice it. Hello, this is my birth residence. Oh, he's alive. Hello, this is Neon. How are you doing? Oh. Is this one of Keiichi's straps? Keiichi's resting right now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Ah, sorry. Wah, idiot. You fell for it. Huh? Keiichi! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. I said I was suspicious of her even after we laughed. Is everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact I couldn't say no saddened me. At least you seemed well. Rena was really worried, you know. Sadako was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika said, how unfortunate he's sick. Looks like everyone was making a big deal of it. Well, you know, Kei-chan, it's not a bad time to come pay you a visit. Is it? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made tons of mochi, so I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey, now you'll catch my cold. Not to worry, both Brandon and I are too stupid to catch cold. See ya. Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. Oh. Brenda's coming too. That's what it sounded like. Bye-bye, swimsuit. Thumbnail. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she's beyond. Oh dear, we're almost here. Okay. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I just did that thing. Did just that. Thank goodness you looked well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine tomorrow. Neon showed up completely lack of concern for someone who's recovering. Brenda looked like she's so worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there's anything behind those expressions. I thought I might hang out for a bit. It looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say. Seems like my face is a bit solid. And here, Keiichi-san, these are the mochi Chan's grandma made. Yellow packaging wrapped in newspaper. I think about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Thanks, send my regards to Grandma Neon. Yeah. Oh, there's that one thing I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiichi gets with one. This is Kei-chan's phone for the team is club meeting today. There's a letter on each mochi, so ask me tomorrow. Were you to check? Checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for the club activities? Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll have to make it tomorrow, too. Man, what are you doing? What do you do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans? Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. It's because the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. Oh, by the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? Oh no. Now her eyes are weird. Why are her eyes weird? Saving over the thing I started off on. What did you eat for lunch? The sudden question startled me and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why? Did she ask me what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane it was almost meaningless. The way she said it almost like she didn't even care about what I ate. I ate out. She also suspected I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt like I hesitated or tried to change the subject and I tried to reach you, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except contrary to the efforts I made, there was a pause before they replied. Oh, Rena's eyes are messed up too. Fuck.
So you ate up the Dutch Kichi-kun.
The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if it was made me feel the faint ignorance behind her words even now. As if she already knew that's how it looked like to me.
Well, was it good?
Why are you asking me this? Mian was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew I'd eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There's no way they could have known where I was.
Seems you're with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was it?
Flop. The package of mochi I was holding dropped out of my hands. I could tell the blood drain from my face, making me go pale.
Oh, Kichi-kun, who was it? Who could be the person from before, I wonder? I
could feel the back of my throat go dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How do you even know that? It took everything I finally forced those words from my throat. My knees were shaking.
Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know.
Mian sneered knowingly, her laugh seemingly carrying on forever.
So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It's like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
Weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
That's a bit strange to hear our names come up and nobody asked about that.
Yes, hello, Gracie. I need kitty hugs for this scene. Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes, and I peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. God damn it. Okay. Damn it, me, stop right-clicking so often. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from shattering. She never left her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Kichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lay down. That's true, we should head back home.
As if nothing happened, they both giggled at each other, then making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door just slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was about to close, it opened again, slightly, setting my heart racing again. A single eye peered through the narrow slit. Neon's hawkish gaze peered at me once again.
See you, Kei-chan.
Yeah? I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. Alright. Thud! The door slammed shut. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died from the distance. Silence again enveloped the room. Come back to my senses. The first thing I did was lock the door. They knew about Oishi-san, and I talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all it could be an overheard from the beginning when Oishi met me. Just as Mian said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? The part was obvious. They're warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did even necessary? They talked about Oishi-san about one thing. They were warning me that it was unnecessary. What's that Oishi-san talking to me about? It's involving Oyashiro's Sama's curse that appeared every year where individual cases were connected as a whole. As well as the fact that there was maybe multiple characters hidden in the Hinamizawa? No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Sadako, Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that why they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking? I face hard enough that it let out a slap. Only that would wake me from this nightmare. For some reason, I was punching the blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, settle down, all sort of things. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oshi was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion I was there. That made the most sense. Just come to think, she didn't ask me where I ate, did she? She only asked me, was it good? They were just curious as I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they have ulterior motives. That's it, that it has to be it. Think about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous because when I met Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and I was startled by it. That's the most natural thinking of that. I felt like my mind was mixing up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out from my nose and ears to squeeze my head. Seeing that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really don't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I have no idea what anyone's saying. Spending time with them was fun. Didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think they're just good people. When I moved here, they couldn't make heads or tails of everything. They were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction never reared its head, she would be pretty cute. Mion's also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender. It was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with them. And talking about not getting bored when back to Sadako was a good person for that too. She's pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. After hearing the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san, and Taki-san, when I was told about Oshiashiro-sama's hurt, things started getting crazy. Hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Sadako, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. That everything changed. That's right. I was starting to get weird after Oishi-san told me all the strange stuff. That's that time I should have just not listened to those weird stories. I even shouldn't have heard about the past incident with Tomataki-san the night of watching Higarashi. I'd found that strange sensation and curiosity if I just hadn't. That's right. So that's why they killed Tomataki-san. That even you outsiders speaking like me likes me after everyone went out of their way to keep the secret from me. They'll probably kill Oishi as well. For trying to unearth what everybody else was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was also unforgiving for speaking words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that's gonna be killed too. Oh, Tomataki-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with people in Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Oishi-sama's curse and just be gone. It wasn't their fault. It's my fault for not being able to hold back curiosity. It wasn't their fault. Wasn't their fault. You guys get the idea. I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I'd just gotten up, but the ominous chill just haunted me subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in the club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all. Oh, that reminds me, I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. For the homework that you brought me when they visited. Wow, our club did deliveries. That was something else. I picked up the package. I dropped to the floor, heading to the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was better luck than the situation I was in. One of the newspaper wrapping, there was 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters from left to right of the newspaper A, B, C, D, and E. Now then. They said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So, well, that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Oh, my leg. It does not like being in that position for long periods of time. Okay. Oh, well, this, just by staring at it, one could tell stood out. Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one's Rena's. Calm down and think harder. Hi, Gracie. Mio said her grandma made tons of them, was told to give some of them out, if I remember correctly. That means 4 of these were just from that large batch. Oh, Rena. She probably only made 1. So she's probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena had was this one. For the moment I thought I might have picked a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd picked that one on, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it probably wasn't a trap. Alright. My tea's ready too. Let's start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Not bad. The smooth bean paste and the chopped chewy texture left little to be desired. The drink I tea afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was quite an exquisite piece of work. Now how about Rena's? Their creation was so delicate, one would think it was the high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But first, a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The answer was the same as there was a little difference in flavor. How it was shaped at the end. So I decided to factor in the presentation volume. Well-formed. Size couldn't get enough of. And one bite of Rena's, I probably would have had to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside it, causing up choo-choo. See, my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. I feel like something edible, so I reached with my finger and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi as I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean paste to splatter. Then, after a sinking around, it slid down the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Brenda had gone around her way to make it for me, but how could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that had performed such a vile act, and then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Though it was a lot shorter than Mion's, Brenda's hair was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It was also a bit hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll along my tongue. There was a bit of metallic sheen on the end of it, and yes, a hole where a thread goes, like it was it is a sewing needle, dumbass. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle, because it is one! Exactly like one! The end was pointed as well. Quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What do you mean by looks very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer, but a voice inside me already knew it and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror wellowing up inside me. Suddenly I tasted something metallic and felt a prickle of pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see I was bleeding. Suddenly I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clapped both hands over my mouth, and writhing in agony, I was able to hold back the nausea. I was able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then it registered. Exactly what was mixed in with that mochi. Before I could think of the correct words, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Plop. Splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out the hallway and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under the covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or a reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What happened in Himezawa? What happened in Himezawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless now, Brenda and Mion and the others, they consider me an enemy. They thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me, not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I crushed by my negative emotions, as if I'd drawn into a billowing bottomless marsh. Oh boy. Little kitty. Yay, new tips. Okay, so there's two of them. Let's cut to the chase. There's a drug that causes someone to kill themselves. Not directly, no. That's quite a roundabout response. Saying one does that indirectly. Something that puts you into a suicidal mental state. Like that? That's hard to say. What would be a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with serious bipolar disorder? Believe the person most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressed state accompanied by a very active manic state. Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. Those do not have the willpower to commit suicide. Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That's the opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when conditions change, they might do so. There's a desire to commit when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter maniac, they gain bursts of willpower and the body moves as they desire. I see, so it means they gain the willpower to, yeah. I'm not going to keep saying it over and over. That's how it goes. That's why patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on impulse. Then was Tomotaki bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar just generally by more civilized means, like say hanging or jumping off the building. Self-harm, though, through withdrawal is completely different. Tomotaki's death wasn't civilized, so one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me the drug that causes someone to commit suicide. There's reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition resembling bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses also report to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid. There's no signs of stimulant. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is some sort of illness, something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The deceased exhibits none of them. I wonder if something could happen more spontaneously. Something that fits the case would cause someone to all of a sudden. Are you familiar with the organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to a physical injury or illness. It can be caused by drugs, but also caused by physical trauma, and can pathologise, a stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded after being chased and his life was put in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined could cause him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility. Could you explain in simpler terms? Wahahaha. Basically, knocks his noggin on the brawl that makes him go high wire. And his lady didn't have any intent to kill. Just smacked him in a bad place where he needs some change. Two plump men laughed stupidly. Of course, it's not that. Ahem. Undoubtedly. If it was a habitual drug use, if it was something mental, the deceased body to hold the key. How are things on your end? Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back to Kuma-chan. Get angry with me. Yeah. Good luck. Best wishes. Best wishes. Alright, let's hit threat. Herm? Those guys just now. They had their national diet badges. Then it's Prefectural Assembly member, City Councilor Sonozaki. That's interesting. The Prefectural Assembly member, City Councilor are related. It's dirty is what that is. It is shouting each other's names during elections. While one is up for election, the other holds assembly, and they dabble over out their campaign activities, blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of election? As long as they have no prior consultation, there's no restriction on the political activities. Too much on the investigation division is going to be pretty rough for you. Should at least brush up on election policies. I'm not suited for intelligence division because I'm dumb. There was a provincial assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki. Also the mayor Hinamazawa. All of them involved with the Sonozaki family. What crap. Looks like they're often seen by the department chief and deputy chief. They came to me. That night when the chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. A lot of connections. You might have heard something, did you? Nope. Not a thing. Ma'am, I'll take the token critters and fish cake. Counselor barked at me in the policy chief state. Instead, oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Special Assembly member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our Sonosker police chief couldn't even handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yukaza. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of Hinamazawa's incident has been handled. Goodness me, I am not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cause regarding Hinamazawa, aren't you? I got my hands full of Tomodaki's death, actually. Really? That's true, there's no problem. Scared of silence. They were silent, made no way for our food to drink. That was quite the feast. This month, it's been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet's feeling a bit pinched. Most appreciated. No, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse stat. Tell me a good horse, I'll bet on the same one as you. Doing well there lately. I don't want to read the horses at all. Taxi! I love my train. Police chief's taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it's a rush to drive it home. Can't blow right now, but before retiring with the TUI. Even though he could just rattle off, it just looks like his legs are already goo. Pushed him into the cab, I gave the driver police chief's address. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy New Year. I wish the sun. Yeah. Past instances have all been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers have to believe it's a real curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're going to retire next year, aren't you? Aren't you going to pay off your mortgage and pension? Move to Hokkaido with your mom? Mother finds to return to the land of birth. Least I can do. And the pension will let me enjoy myself in Tsukino. Police chief may have issued special retirement. The public service pension is probably based on their monthly salary. So you're to get a raise right before retirement. Your bonus to your salary will be inflated. If you get a surplus of funds, that tends to be how things are done around here. Of course, not custom that's thought of highly. The difference between bonus and pension is quite a bit. Wasn't pension you just get it after you retire? Bonus is just random. I'd expect nothing less than excitement for Egghead Chief. Well, they say our salary is compensation for our hard work, but in the end, really just as it does, has to do with the passage of time. This is something I can laugh at. I'll laugh through it anyway. I think it's anything exemplary, but given how hard you worked, it's not odd that you're getting that much of a pension. I'd like to get that much myself. If I get it, well, of course I'd want to. You'll get it. You're an adult after all. Sorry holding you up here, driver. Thank you very much. And he'll stir roughly, interrupting Chief's conversation too rudely. Looks like the chief has something to say. He'll smile wryly and wave. I wave return. Spat. Cat spat gradually soon disappeared among the sea lights. Yeah, oh, man. I wonder if I really can repay that loan. Hello, kitty. And I think I'm going to call it a stream here. Mostly because my throat is feeling a bit sore from narrating for how long? Yeah, a little over 3 hours. Awesome sauce. I just saved, so I don't really even need to save here. Have a good day, guys. Thank you for watching.